With us tonight is one of the toughest people ever to serve in this House. A guy who took a bullet, almost died, and was back to work 3.5 months later. The legend from Louisiana, Congressman Steve Scalise.
And the roaring applause Congressman Scalise received a standing ovation during last night's State of the Union address. The president thanked his heroic efforts of the heroic efforts of the Capitol police officers, the Alexandria police, and the medical team that saved Congressman Scalise's life. And Congressman Scalise joins us now by phone. And first of all, your reaction to the tremendous ovation you received last night, Congressman.
Wow, and good morning, Sally Ann and Eric. Great to be with you. It wasn't something I saw coming, but he's been a warm person, President Trump, to me from literally the hours after I was in the hospital. He and Melania came to the hospital, and when I was fighting for my life, he really provided great comfort to Jennifer, my wife, who was there. And he called me a lot of times throughout the 3.5 months I was in the hospital just to check on me. And so it was nice to see people see that side of Donald Trump that I've been able to see for a lot of my struggle. But to receive that kind of ovation, my colleagues, both Republican and Democrat, have really rallied around my recovery and followed it. I had another surgery 2 weeks ago, and they really checked on me a lot and embraced my comeback. And so it's been it's a side of politics you don't get to see too often, but it's really provided a lot of strength to me, and I love that support.
I was going to ask about that because you just went for another surgery a couple of weeks ago, as you mentioned. You popped out of your seat with no crutches or anything. I was going, whoa, Steve looks good.
I'm feeling a lot better. Amazing how many surgeries you can have where you can bounce back from an 8-hour surgery just 2 weeks later. God performs miracles, and the marvels of science are amazing too. So I've been blessed. I've got a great team of doctors, and they've had a patient that they've had to treat many different times, but at least it's going well.
Now, there is bipartisan, of course, support for your recovery. We saw that continually. But do you think that there can be bipartisanship that the president spoke about in his speech last night? Do you think there's room for the two sides to come together?
There really is, and there's some things that we're working on, and you saw President Trump especially talking about infrastructure, where we have an ability to come together, but also on immigration. Is divisive and maybe controversial of an issue as immigration is, we're actually close on a number of things. Probably the biggest areas where we have disagreement is on how to provide border security. I strongly support building the wall and having that extra layer of protection to protect our homeland. And then you look on the other side, and that's DACA. How do you properly handle the kids that are here, who are no longer kids, but who came here as children back during the DACA period?
But most people agree that something should be done with that. Most people in your party agree with that. How come that can't be agreed to, and why is it such a political football?
I think we're actually close. But look, I mean, on DACA, I would support a legal status, but if you want to become a citizen, you can get in line like everybody else, but you don't have to leave the country to do it. That would be a big improvement over current law. Some people want a path to citizenship, and a lot of my colleagues like myself would have concerns because then you would be able to jump ahead of the line. But ultimately, that's where we're having the main negotiation right now, and things like chain migration, even this lottery system that's got a lot of flaws in it. I think a lot of people recognize it's time for those policies to go, but then let's secure our border, let's address this problem, and then finally be able to move on from an issue that's been lingering out there for over 20 years.
Well, hopefully you guys can get together, and there's no more government shutdowns, at least in the near future. So good luck on that.
Thanks. We've got a lot of work to do, but I thought there was a lot of momentum provided by President Trump's speech last night. Real inspiring speech, and it lays out the challenges we have ahead.
All right, Congressman Scalise, be well. Thank you very much.
Great being with y'all. Thanks so much.